Hi guys, I'm back again today with a continuation to Power Ranger Cosmic Fury History. So before we start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's continue. Let's get it.
The new robotic foot soldiers of the season, the Zentinels. I am disappointed that they are not called Zedtinels. Still, I like them, especially since it's been a while since we had original American footage foot soldiers. Obviously, they're patterned off of Zed in their general helmet aesthetic and coming in two color varieties. The all-silver ones that can be thought of as homaging Zed's putties, and a red one higher in rank that obviously more closely follows Zed's color scheme. Zed enters the battle himself and shows off a problem that I brought up last time in regards to Zed's voice. As I said there, word choice is also important for how a character is written and why the character felt off. It's a problem that Robo Rita had in Once and Always too, but it's especially noticeable for Zed. He doesn't call Billy by his name. He calls him Cranston. I don't think Zed ever said Billy's last name at any point in the original Mighty Morphin seasons. Maybe they thought the villain trying to gravelly, angrily say the name Billy just come off as too goofy, but I couldn't say. I just know that it sounds off when they do it. Squillia summons a monster called Dewdrip to join the action.
I'm afraid I just blew myself.
There's got to be a better way to say that.
Despite spraying all the Rangers with it, Zed says that it's specifically designed to turn one of them evil. Ollie. And it works. A mind-controlled Ollie, equipped with the Cosmic Gateway Key, opens a portal that Zed blasts Zato into. The portal closes and they get the key away from him, but they've lost Zato again. With our heroes down 2 Rangers, the Red Morphin Master empowers Mick with the red Ninja Steel powers he had that one time to help even the odds. Unfortunately, the villains have their own continuity villain to aid them. Scrazzle works for Basilia now, and has constructed the Master Captivator, a cannon and storage device that captures the Morphin Masters. Oh no, our Deus Ex Machinas! Before he's taken, Master Red tosses aside his staff over to Javi, who gets a vision of some kind of spot on Zordnia that's struck by lightning, instructing him to go to it. Our heroes teleport to it, Mick revealing that this is the legendary Altar of Zordnia, which is what he and Billy were looking for when they came here. Apparently, like the Shogun Zords, there's another lost group of ancient Zords that have fallen into legend, the Cosmic Fury Zords. And since our heroes have lost their own Zords at the end of the last season, this might be exactly what they need. This is one of the bits that I know a lot of fans were disappointed by. The adaptation. Like Mighty Morphin Seasons 2 and 3, the Sentai footage this time is only of the Zords, coming from Uchu Sentai Kyuranger. Kyuranger had one of the largest final team counts with 12 Rangers, and their suits were very eclectic and distinct from each other. There had apparently been some discussion even before Hasbro took over the franchise of adapting Kyuranger, but it got passed over. A brand manager at Hasbro, Jason Bischoff, apparently did pitch an adaptation of it called Power Rangers Supernova, but that too got rejected. Ultimately, the decision for why Cosmic Fury doesn't adapt the suits is threefold. The first is that with 12 Rangers and only 10 episodes, though apparently the season was originally planned to be 20 episodes, so we have the opposite problem from Dino Fury, was seen as difficult at best, so going with original suits mitigated that issue and let us focus on the team as it existed already. I suppose you could upgrade some of the supporting cast in Dino Fury into new Rangers like Jane, Javorg, and Tarek or something, but it's still a lot and not a lot of time to do much with them. The second problem was logistical. Power Rangers does try to match any original fight scene footage with locations that look similar to the Sentai footage, as I pointed out in particular with Megaforce, so they save money on that kind of work by instead focusing on new fight scenes with suits made specifically for Power Rangers. The third reason is toy molding. It's easier to create a generic toy shape for the various Rangers if they're all similar in design versus Kyuranger suits all being relatively distinct from each other, even though ironically Hasbro didn't end up producing any Cosmic Fury figures at the time of this release. It's a shame because I think the Kyuranger suits look pretty cool, but ultimately I'm happy with Power Rangers doing its own thing whenever possible. Anyway, there's a hole in the altar that looks like it's designed to fit the Morphin Master staff. They think Javi should just put the staff into it, but Billy points out, hey, this thing keeps getting struck by lightning and was designed to be operated by Morphin Masters. Maybe we shouldn't try to play with it just yet. Unfortunately, the decision gets made for them when the Squidrill commanded by Ollie attacks, transforming into a giant robot to shoot at them. Javi inserts the staff and gets blasted back. The Cosmic Fury Zords are summoned and fight the Squidrill. As for Javi,
My arm.
ha ha ha, funny Javi, the old, oh, my arm is gone, oh, psych, I was just hiding it bit. It's probably not appropriate for this.
He's going into shock. I know what to do. You
are gonna be okay.
Power Rangers, I can't help but notice that you're stretching this joke out longer than it needs to. Billy and the 3 remaining Dino Fury Rangers take charge of the Zords and form the Cosmic Fury Megazord.
A Megazord made out of Christmas globes. Very scary, guys.
Hey, don't knock it, Ollie. Some past Rangers were stuck in Christmas ornaments once. I just said that and remembered how weird this franchise is. Amelia beams over to the squid drill to try to get Ollie back, but the mind control is much more thorough than it has been in the past. She knocks him unconscious and teleports him out, allowing the others to blow up the squid drill. Zordnia is soon surrounded by a fleet of squid drills, and everyone retreats back to the Earth and the command henge. However, Zordnia is not their target.
Time for us to finish what you started 30 years ago. Set the fleet's course for Earth.
Back on Earth, things are a bit in chaos among our heroes since they're not sure how to proceed, but Amelia takes charge. Billy and Mick have warned all other Ranger teams on Earth of what's going on, and Tarek says the Rafconians will be ready to defend the planet as well. Ollie and Javi are both still unconscious. They're really pushing the Javi's arm is gone joke a lot longer than I was expecting them to. You'd think that they actually cut off a character's arm.
No way.
Oh my god, they cut off a main character's arm in Power Rangers. Say what you want about Rita saying kill a bunch and once and always. This is the show going hardcore.
But he uses both hands to play guitar.
And not for any other task whatsoever. Okay, look, yeah, that's a legit concern and all, but it's just one of the many issues with losing a limb. I applaud the show for having the balls to do something like this, but it feels like the show is kind of underselling this. Solon points out that she has experience with cybernetics. He's not the only person to have ever lost a limb. I mean, yeah, she's right. Just ask Dave Lister.
And pick up the ball.
Ollie's mom plans to recreate the formula that freed him from mind control beforehand, and Billy gives a pep talk.
You've all been put through the ringer. But from what I know of this team, this is a challenge that I'm sure you're all ready for.
With the season being so short, a continuation of the last season, and the fact that this is the most serialized Power Rangers has ever been, it's hard to evaluate this season opener as its own thing, especially compared to ones we've had before. It's less about establishing a new status quo as much as it is establishing the plot threads that will continue throughout the season. Hell, if not for the fact that the team will be getting new powers and just got new Zords, you'd think of it less as a new season and more like the ending arc of Dino Fury. And as such, let's continue on with episode 2, Beyond Repair.
Here's one hot chocolate with 80% marshmallows. Just how you like it.
When the ratio of hot chocolate to marshmallows is that small, why even bother calling it hot chocolate? It's just soggy marshmallows. Consequently, she got that ratio of marshmallows to hot chocolate by having absolutely huge marshmallows in it. Solon, I know you were entombed for millions of years, but come on! But yeah, Javi's awake and they prepare to build a cybernetic arm for him.
I appreciate all your help. Like you said, it's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, but the show doesn't treat it like that. More on that later. While Amelia and Ollie's mom apply the mind control antidote to Ollie, Mick begins a search for Zato, saying that he has contacts all over the galaxy who might be able to help. They only know that he fell through a portal onto a green planet near a red nebula. Izzy informs Warden Garcia, Jane, and Jayborg about the possible return of Lord Zed. They've informed world leaders of the potential attack already, but since the Rangers are based in Pine Ridge, they thought it'd be good to give the local authorities and media a heads up. Jane suggests they try to trick Zed,
saying that all of Earth has gone on vacation to Venus, so he invades the wrong planet.
This is why so many startup media companies die so quickly. Honestly, tricking Lord Zed as if that's going to defeat him. Meanwhile, Ollie awakens, but the antidote had no effect, and they're forced to lock him in the medical bay. Amelia asks Ollie's mom how she can be so calm given the situation.
I'm terrified, but putting out that vibe doesn't help. Instead, I'm focusing my energy on the facts.
Which is admirable, but it's not great drama. And that's the big issue with this situation, Javi's arm, and a couple of other things to come. The Rangers confront this stuff with professionalism, calm, and only mild sadness about the more depressing aspects of it. But this is a television show, a narrative, and you need to give your characters a chance to experience harsh things and react as if they were harsh things. Javi's arm is the perfect example of this. He gets kind of bummed out about it, And that's it. He's not given a chance to truly despair, to move through it. Where's his outburst about how unfair it is that he suffered for doing the right thing? Where's him breaking down in tears when he realizes an activity that used to be simple to him is now incredibly difficult? Where's the frustration when everyone's trying to be helpful, trying to be supportive and cheer him up, but they just don't understand the pain he's going through and there's nothing they can say or do to help him? Yes, he will ultimately get through it. That's the point of the arc. But the writing is restrictive and thus it damages the drama for the audience. Sure, it's for kids, but if you weren't going to address the realities that come with someone developing a handicap thanks to losing a limb, why bother doing it at all? If it's about representation, which, hey, that's a good reason, why didn't you just start with the character like that? What we get from it is fine, but it could have been great. The two theorize that the infection is spread to Ollie's morphing energy itself, corrupting it. Thus, the only way to free him from the mind control would be to sever his connection to the grid, which would mean destroying his Dinohenge statue. Izzy, meanwhile, prepares to go to college with Fern, deciding not to tell her the details of what's going on to keep her from worrying. Aw, we even get a little cheek kiss between the two. I love them. At least one of my ships survived. Oh, and for anyone last time who posted homophobic or prejudiced comments when I talked about Izzy being the first lesbian in the franchise's TV seasons.
Leave any bigotry in your quarters.
Somebody actually commented. Yeah.
The Rangers are called into action as Doudrip attacks in a mega squid drill, deciding to take the fight to it in orbit rather than risk it happening on the planet. Javi gets his cybernetic arm, but it's a little unwieldy, not quite synchronized with his brain yet. And yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it, Dave Lister?
That's rubbish.
The arm is designed to be adaptive, so it'll eventually sync with him properly, but his flailing uncovers a great big red button that must never ever be pushed. In the meantime, Amelia and Ollie's mom have come up with a plan to use energy from the morphing grid to purge the corrupted energy from Ollie's system. They decide not to wait since they need the team up to full strength, so Billy and Ion are tasked with distracting anyone who comes to Dinohenge while Izzy uses a key to camouflage the area. Unfortunately, this is also when Fern decides to stop by looking for Izzy. Javi goes to retrieve her, and strangely enough, his cybernetic arm is still visible on his Ranger outfit. I'm curious why that would be. Ranger suits have aged up a child, fit a large dog snout into a more human-shaped helmet, and we've had robotic Rangers before. Why wouldn't it just adjust to the presence of the arm? I mean, visually it's cool, it's just unusual. Javi brings her inside, and they force Ollie outside to try to purge his system, but it doesn't work. The blast forces Izzy down and the camouflage fails, allowing Zed to beam down and destroy all but Ollie's Dinohenge statue. And Ollie's is only spared because he swears fealty to Zed, even proving he's still under his control by throwing his sword right at Amelia's face and scarring it.
I do love an evil ranger.
Now let's put a really cheap Zentai suit with no helmet on you to complete the look. The Rangers retreat back into the command henge.
I want a squid drill drilling down into their base until each one of those ranger ninnies are buried in dirt.
Ah, yes, I remember. The command henge's one weakness. Drills. And since we already established it earlier in the episode, they have to use the great big red button that must never ever be pushed. It's a mass teleportation system, transporting the entire command center to another planet called Eridus. It's the farthest uninhabited but habitable planet from Earth, with similar atmosphere and gravity. It also burns out the system, so it's a one-way trip and no way back, especially without their powers. Amelia gives the pep talk again.
If we just focus on one problem at a time, we'll get through.
Yeah, she's got it right. This is no big.
Oh yeah? This is no big?
Don't be a Debbie Downer, Fern. This is your big chance to spend some quality time with your girlfriend away from school. This leads us to episode 3, Off Grid. While Javi tries to relearn to play his guitar with the cybernetic arm, Billy recounts to the others how he lost his powers once.
After that, I became a wolf ninja.
Oh, that's quite the downgrade from dinosaur.
Yeah, a lot of toy companies seem to think the same thing. Recalling how the Morphin Masters restored their powers before, and with access to Master Red Staff, Billy starts working on a way to get our heroes new powers. Their main communication system doesn't have the range to reach Earth, so they decide to reconfigure the antenna Zato had used last season to contact the Rafconians to act as a more powerful transmitter. Fern discovers blueprints for a plan to reconfigure the command henge into a spaceship, and while at first the two are supportive and happy, a wedge begins to form up between the two as Izzy insists on Fern staying behind to help with the interior of the ship instead of heading outside, worried about her. This subplot doesn't really go very far, so I might as well talk about it here. When the season was intended to be 20 episodes, the plan was to have the two temporarily break up, a result of Izzy being overly protective of Fern. They would have gotten back together, of course, but dropping it does mean that Izzy doesn't have as much of a plot this season. Stuff will still happen, but much like the lack of drama with Javi's arm, it means that potential character conflict and drama gets pushed aside. While they set up the transmitter, Ion comes along to gather potential food. However, he comes across a hatching egg, which reveals this little creature, and I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Silky from the Teen Titans animated series. It attacks Ion, who nicknames it a scuttleworm, eats the food he gathered, and then almost instantly transforms into a more monstrous form. They may not be able to morph anymore, but they do still have swords, so they can fight. Javi quickly learns just how strong his cybernetic arm is and is able to force the creature away. With the transmitter up, they're able to receive signals from Earth and learn that the planet is undergoing a full-scale invasion. Thankfully, they actually mention that other Power Rangers teams are fighting it, but General Shaw reveals that there's some sort of force field around the planet that's preventing the Rangers from summoning Zords. They decide not to tell the Earth where they are. After all, they're still vulnerable, and Zed might decide to send some forces to wipe them out. Although I'm sure inputting your credit card information will be fine. In Osaka, Ollie reaches his mom and claims that the grid energy did cure him, but he had to deceive Zed. He's looking for his team, but while she hasn't been able to contact them, she did get a message from Mick, who thinks he's found where Zato ended up, the planet Lavina. Because evil is stupid, Ollie drops the act and says he'll go after Zato to attract the Rangers and destroy them right in front of his mom instead of keeping up the deception. While the Rangers deal with the scuttleworm returning, things are getting lit on Zed's ship.
I am extremely confused, and I feel so old.
In my day, we took over juice bars to do this. It's just weird if we're doing it for a phone camera. Ollie tells Zed about Zato's location and wants a team of monsters to go after him. Zed agrees, telling him to take Squillia's dancing team while she finishes conquering Earth.
But Earth sucks!
Agreed.
Can't argue with that, got our number. Zed himself has another world he has in mind to conquer. Billy completes his work, unveiling the new Cosmic Fury Morphers.
I kept the dinosaur theme. It just felt right.
I don't know, man. Dinosaur to Wolf Ninja might be a downgrade, but Dinosaurs to Space feels like an upgrade. In any case, I like the Morphers, an original creation of this series, obviously. As stated, the dinosaur motif harkens to their previous powers, and now instead of the Dino Keys, they have cosmic orbs as their power source, a hatch opening up on top to lock them in. The new morphing sequence is also still similar to the Dino Fury one, though now they float up into the grid pattern of the dinosaur, then swoop their hands down over their faces to form their helmets. It's pretty cool. But oh boy, it's time. Time to talk about the suits. Ooh boy, the suits.
I don't think he likes
I freaking love these suits. I am so confused by so many people who kept ragging on these
really?
things. One person even saying in the comments, oh man, I can't wait for you to tear the Cosmic Fury suit.
I like the helmets, but I don't necessarily like the suits. They're too... I don't know. I just like the helmets are doing it.
It's apart. I like these suits. I've been complaining for a long while now about the suits caring more about their unique design elements instead of their colors. Finally, we have suits again that are focused on the individual colors, and the unique design elements are a complement to them instead of overriding things. Yes, the Q Ranger suits are cool, but they're also very busy, a little over-designed, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially when all the suits are relatively unique, but I think these suits are really sleek. Yeah, the foam outer portions and the torso is probably not necessary, but honestly, it's not distracting when the suits are in action and the fake muscles on them are more subtle than you'd think. I love the silver and gold highlights, and the shield is evocative of the Green Ranger shield from Mighty Morphin while still being its own thing. The helmets are carried over from Dino Fury, kind of like how I suggested they could work back with the powers transition of Mighty Morphin Season 3. Honestly, I kind of like these better than the Dino Fury suits. And hell, even Amelia looks like a massive upgrade, what with that very dark pink outfit. Yeah, now that she's the Red Ranger, Amelia's worried that this means Zato's dead again.
No. If the morphing grid chose you to be the Red Ranger, it means it's reacting to something within you.
And indeed, Amelia in these 3 episodes has stepped up to be the new leader. Oh, and I should note, the theme song has been reflecting the Rangers' powers, showing off only Dino Fury suits initially, then transitioning now into the Cosmic Fury suits, and a darker Dino Fury version for Ollie. The episode ends with the team receiving a new transmission from Mick, updating that Zato is on Lavina, but now Zed's forces have come too. With their powers restored, the Rangers decide to give them a test drive and take the Zords on a rescue mission, bringing us to episode 4, Teamwork. Ollie and his team of dancing idiots are hunting for Zato when they come across Mick. They're about to take him prisoner when our heroes show up to save the day. Ollie shows off that Scrozzle's modified his own morpher, giving him a darker, more evil version of his Dino Fury powers. It's a bit over-designed in my opinion, but no biggie.
Red doesn't suit you!
Well, bitter isn't a good color on you!
It's a shame how such different career paths can hurt a relationship. Despite Ollie's attempts to lead the monsters, most end up getting blasted and he's forced to retreat.
Those new suits crush the competition. And those weapons, mwah.
Boy, I hope somebody makes toys of those to sell! Nick reports that the planet is mostly one big forest aside from a single city, and they soon locate the impact crater where Zato crashed. They find some torn clothes and debris from his tech. They follow the trail they think he took, Ollie close behind and observing the plant life actually defending itself if it's damaged in any way. The Rangers observe the same, and Amelia mind melds with a tree, realizing that the forest is all one being, a massive sentient life form of plant life. It shows them images of Zato crashing and coming across a glowing tree. Sensing that he was dying, it drew him inside of it to keep him safe while he healed. Ollie blasts them into some plants, which instinctively trap the Rangers upon thinking they're being attacked, and says he's going after Zato himself. He's smart enough to leave some Sentinels to guard them, but of course Ion and Amelia can use their telepathy to communicate with the creature to get freed. As such, the forest drops a log on the Sentinels. Wait, did it break itself to do that? Isn't that like cutting off your own finger to stab someone with the fingernail? While the Rangers engage Ollie's Squidrill, Ion moves ahead and finds an unconscious Zato. He tries to use his telepathy on him, but can't read him. Still, he wakes up and Ion thanks the forest for keeping him safe. The forest responds and tells Zato to appreciate the time he has left.
Did that tree just talk?
You talk to it first.
Well, yeah, you guys actually wandered into a colony of Entwives. Mick heads off to protect his own home from potential attack while the rest of the team returns to the command henge, where they give Zato his cosmic orb and he transforms into the Zenith Ranger, which has a very spiffy cape and he can wield the Master Morpher staff.
Wow, slick color, dude.
It's beige. Okay, technically champagne, but come on. The outfit is slick, not the color. Solon, Fern, and Billy haven't been resting on their laurels either, as they've begun the process of converting the base into a ship per the blueprints. And they're gonna need it, as we soon discover what planet Zed decided to conquer and make his own home base. Eltar, Zordon's homeworld. Ollie reports his failure, confused why teamwork didn't win through. Zed is actually amused by this, probably still riding high on conquering the planet, and says that he sees great potential in Ollie, beginning to groom him in the ways of evil.
The true path to power is to only look out for yourself.
Good enough, Zed, but you need to add some flair to it, like this.
You must serve no master but your ambition.
Anyway, let's move on to the next episode, Rock Out. Blitzblast is still transmitting from Earth and reports that Zed has set up prisons all around the planet that are holding anyone who's been resisting the takeover. The various Ranger teams have failed to break them open, and they've evidently been taken as well. Mick transmits them a bit from Space CNN or something, reporting on Bajilia locating an ancient Dragon Zord on a planet she's mining on, with the clear intention of having Ollie pilot it once it's excavated. Billy suspects that it's a lost member of the Cosmic Fury Zords, and they all agree that they need to keep it out of the villain's hands, even though this is most likely a trap. Javi comes up with the plan. They'll disguise themselves as a monster thrash metal band, distract the troops and miners, while Zato sneaks up to the Zord and uses the Morphin Master staff to reactivate it. This is an episode that would have contributed to the Fern and Izzy subplot, since Fern volunteers to go along, being the only other person who can play an instrument, much to Izzy's objection. Our heroes arrive.
We're a band called, Meat Chrome.
Nice execution.
You're doing terrific.
They set up and start playing. They're okay, but they're no Bulk and Skull. Let it all out! These are the things we can do without, come on! Ironically, the song continually calls out for people to shout, yet I realized one of the weird issues with this season, nobody shouts. There's no yelling. It's always at normal levels. I don't know if this is a technical issue because of their equipment and they're afraid of peaking, or if for some reason they're just not allowed to shout, but it makes moments that should be intense feel a bit more lifeless. It's not a huge detriment, but I noticed it regardless. Ollie sees through the disguise and they morph.
There will be no encores!
Still, the plan succeeds and they successfully retrieve the Zord. However, before they leave with it, Ollie slaps a tracking device on it. Back at the command henge, they get a secret transmission from Tarek, who reports that a ton of civilians have formed a resistance alongside the Rafconians. They have a spy on the inside who's helping them, and that spy's name was General Hux. Said spy has already uncovered that each squidrill is projecting part of the anti-Zord force field. As a result, if you destroy even one of them, you can punch a hole in it. He tells them to contact them on that frequency to coordinate their plans for the counterattack. On Eltar, we learn that Squilia's got a boyfriend.
He's so dreamy.
Ooh, I don't know, Squilia. That looks like the kind of guy who's got two sides to him. Anyway, thanks to the tracking device, Ollie and Bajilia prepare to head out to Eridus to finally destroy the Rangers, leading us to episode 6, Takeoff. The engines need to be tested before they can lift off, so the Rangers are flying around in the Zords to make sure everything's safe.
Heads up. Approaching that seismic activity.
Whoa! A giant tentacle?
Who shall we have worm sign the likes of which even God has never seen?
The creature is a fully grown scuttleworm, which the Zords take on during the engine test. The base is a vibration that needs to be repaired from the outside, Solon and Billy taking care of it, but they soon lose contact with Solon, and it's clear she was taken by the scuttleworms as food for their young. Ollie and Bajilia arrive in orbit and begin searching for the team, though fortunately, Billy was able to equip the base with a cloaking device. Zato is able to use the Morphin Master staff to locate Solon, though the process exhausts him to the point of fainting. Unfortunately, since the villains can't locate them, they start firing randomly from orbit, which will wake up every scuttleworm on the planet. Zato and Izzy head out to try to retrieve Solon, while the others go after the monster shooting at them. However, the two going to the cave are intercepted by Ollie, who explains how he find them.
Blah, blah, Ollie with the exposition. Who cares?
Hey now, Izzy, being glorified Wikipedia is basically my whole thing with this retrospective, don't knock it. Fern, overhearing how both teams are busy, takes the Cosmic Fury Morpher meant for Ollie and heads down into the cave. She doesn't intend to morph with it. The Morpher also has a blaster function, which also makes it pretty cool in my opinion. Fern frees Solon, but the Morpher is damaged in the fight, as are Solon's cybernetics. Fern tries to help her up, but the sparks from her electronic systems merge with the damaged Morpher, infusing it with some of Solon's DNA.
Science, huh? Ain't it a thing?
And transforms Fern into the Orange Ranger.
It's definitely spandex.
Dr. K starts frothing at the mouth somewhere, and she doesn't know why. After the two rejoin the others, everyone retreats back to the ship and take off, having to disable the cloaking device to have maximum power. We cut over to Squilia as she hangs out with Heckle, saying he's the only bright spot in this boring assignment on Earth.
I think of myself as more of a shadowy menace.
Oh god, I missed you, Heckle. Anyway, Squilia is told by Zed that the Cosmic Fury Rangers are on their way. Back over to the Astro Mega Henge, Solon fills in the others about Fern's rescue and how the Cosmic Fury Orb bonded with her during it. We get what was probably going to be the conclusion of the arc between Fern and Izzy, the latter accepting her as a Ranger and recognizing that her fears were unwarranted. Zed, meanwhile, continues his grooming of Ollie.
There is a saying in this universe: no peace for the strongest, only survival.
That sounds really stressful and annoying.
Perhaps you would be happier in another job.
He says that all the other warlords and emperors who have come before him have lost and been
has
destroyed.
Not you.
No.
He lost
He
like
has
100 times and was eventually...
The commentator has beef with him so much. All the time.
But not you.
No.
He lost like 100 times and was eventually turned to dust, or a yuppie depending on your point of view. Still, Zed explains that the only way to truly survive is to be the most powerful being there is, which he thinks the Morphin Master energy will grant him. Now on to episode 7, Operation Seasoning. The Rangers arrive at Earth, Zato having slept the entire journey. The title refers to their plan. Tarek's spy will disable the Squidrill over Pine Ridge, while the two Megazords the Cosmic Fury Rangers have will remain in orbit. In theory, they'll cause a chain reaction that disables the anti-Zord field, and the two Megazords, the Dragon Zord creates another Megazord, didn't mention it earlier, will attack, take out the remaining Squidrills, and open up the prisons to free the other Ranger teams. On board Squilia's ship, Heckle tries to get the villainess to leave the ship and go on a spa day, but her general convinces her to stay. Don't sweat it, Squilia. Heckle's just introducing you to the boomerang to your face challenge that's all over TikTok.
Unleash the power. Dino charge.
Dark Ranger.
I would just like to note that Dino Charge is now up to 11 Rangers! And okay, a bit of an explanation is needed here. There were rumors at the time of Dino Charge that Heckle was going to become another Ranger thanks to the Dark Energem. This mostly stemmed from the toys, where if you put the Spinosaurus Dino Charger into the Morpher, it would announce it was for the Talon Ranger. Thus, fans speculated that the Talon Ranger was going to be their version of the character Death Ryuger from the Sentai. However, it's been revealed that the Talon Ranger was actually an early name for Xenowing's Silver Ranger. They had no plans to use the Death Ryuger suit because the character came from Kyo Ryuger's movie, thus different rights and more money would have to be spent on it. However, rights issues are bullcrap, so the same cannot be said for the Boom Studios comics, wherein Heckle appeared as a character and indeed became the Dark Ranger thanks to the Dark Energem. And for whatever reason, they decided to bring that whole thing over to this season, though apparently he has the wrong helmet for Death Ryuger. Simon Bennett just said that that was the helmet Toei provided them with the suit. Now, me personally, I think they should have just gone with calling him the Talon Ranger here. Nothing against the concept or Heckle becoming a Ranger, but quite frankly, if you're going to call a character the Dark Ranger, their outfit should look really dark. Black being the primary color scheme. Heckle's Dark Ranger is primarily navy blue, red arms, and white gloves.
I
Plus
know,
a
right?
really
It's
huge
more
gold arm
rainbow
thing.
than
It is
anything.
a meh color scheme to match something with the descriptor Dark Ranger. The Phantom Ranger is more what I would think of as a Dark Ranger. And I would just like to note that if you count Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury together, Dino Charge has made appearances in every Ranger series since its airing. Weird, isn't it? Anyway, no explanation is given how or why Heckle got here. Sure, the dimensional teleport tech from Wes, but were they summoning help from the other universes to come to their aid and only Heckle was available? Unfortunately, the Dark Ranger fails and Heckle is captured. The force field remains up as the Megazords are disabled after entering the atmosphere. Operation Seasoning has failed before we've hit the 7-minute mark of the episode. I know the first casualty in a battle is the plan, but it's kind of impressive how badly this went. All the Rangers except for Zato and Ion are captured, the former using the Morphin Master Staff to send the Zords away for safekeeping, but yet again Zato collapses. They hole up with Tarek's resistance cell as Solon is brought in. When he regains consciousness, we learn what exactly is up. The Morphin Masters didn't exactly bring Zato back to life. They filled him up with their own magical energy, an energy that he draws from whenever he uses their staff to perform tasks. And without the Morphin Masters to refill the tank, Zato is quickly using up what's keeping him alive. Pop Pop arrives with some gifts from General Shaw at Grid Battle Force. The teleporter device is used to transport massive objects like the Morphex towers. The new plan is to grab the Squidrill and beam it right into the local prison, simultaneously disabling the force field and freeing the other Rangers. Strangely, this is yet another opportunity for a Rick and Morty clip.
And with that, we are going to end it for today. We will continue with the last part, hopefully tomorrow. Yeah, I think we can finish it tomorrow. So, anyways, beautiful people, this has been super fun. I just love watching this, but also at the same time, I'm like, am I spoiling it for myself? Because if ever I choose to watch the whole thing, or is it okay? Well, I am a very forgetful human being anyway, so in a couple of seconds I will just forget everything ish. So we'll see. Well, thank you, and I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Bye.